Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, this channel, we do talk about life. We talk about what it is to be a man. We talk about women, pretty much anything you can think of when it comes to the life of a guy, right? Guys, today's video, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about there is a woman out there for you. She's waiting for you. She's there, all right? And the reason I'm making this video is because I'm sick of seeing all these comments. I'm sick of seeing all these videos about how all women are this and all women are that, and how there's not any good women out there. Guys, isn't it funny when you really zoom out and you look at all this conversation? It sounds a lot like feminism, right? The same thing that a lot of guys hate, the same thing that a lot of guys are pointing the fingers and saying, look at how much damage this is doing. Guys, if you're not careful, if we are not careful, this is going to swing back in our direction. We are going to end up in the same mess. And you know what that mess is? A victim mentality. All right? And don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not here to preach off my high horse. I've been there. And in some ways, every day is still a struggle. It's a choice. It's a choice you have to decide if you are going to be a man or if you're just going to give in, right? You can call it whatever you want. You can call it being black-pilled. You can call it being a man, accepting reality, right? You could be a guy in his 50s or 60s and say, oh, I've had a wife, I've had several wives, and it never worked out, and all women are this, and they're just not worth my time. Guys, why is that? Seriously, why is that? I know that that's a question that's going to piss a lot of you off, and I hope it does, especially initially, because I want you to think about this, all right? I really, really want you to think about this, especially if you're a guy who thinks that there's not going to be a woman out there for you, that there's nothing worth going after, right? There's no woman that's worth having as a wife. There's no woman that's worth having as a mother to your children, right? You know, it's crazy. A lot of guys, you know, myself included, I've been here. We have one bad experience, or we have a couple, or maybe even a string of bad experiences, and we throw in the towel and we say, that's it. I can't do it anymore. I'm too broken. It's too much for me to handle. Guys, that is the worst way to look at life as a man. The absolute worst way to look at life as a man. Let me tell you something. If you, at any point, give in to that, you will become one of these people that say, there's just not a woman out there for me. There's just not a future out there for me. There's just not a possibility. And I think what happens is a lot of times as men, we compare ourselves, right? Just like women, which is crazy. But as men, we're doing this because we get so wrapped up in social media. We get so wrapped up in what the world says, or media, or this or that, right? We get so wrapped up in this. Really, guys, it's stupidity, right? We compare ourselves to the top 1% of men, right? And we never stop to ask ourselves, right? How did these men get there? What are they doing with their lives? Is it even for a good cause? Is it even for a real reason, right? You know, a lot of these guys, if you really look into their lives, and some of them are pretty upfront about it. Some of them have been pretty open with, you know, where they came from, how they got to where they've gotten. Guys, a lot of times it's not because of anything saintly that they did. It's not because of anything glamorous or glorious that they did. A lot of these guys, they're expert salesmen. And let me tell you something about being a salesman, guys. I've been in sales. I was in sales for about 2 years. First, I did door to door, and then I was on the phone. The biggest hurdle you will face if you have a conscience is doing the right thing. Now, for everybody, that looks a little bit different. If you're going to be in sales, you need to find a product, you need to find a company that you can stand behind 100%, because belief is going to push you forward. Guys, that is the exact same thing, the exact same mindset you have to have with women. If you live your life thinking that no woman is going to be able to be good enough for you, that no woman is going to be able to, you know, compliment you or give you what you want, right? Let's be real about this, guys. If you want a family, you want kids, you want a purpose, you want a life, you want something to go for, a woman's going to be able to provide that for you. You might have a dog, you might have some buddies, some friends you hang out with, you might have a social life, right? You're never going to find, I truly believe, you can tell me I'm crazy, you can tell me in the comments, I don't care. You will never find your true purpose unless you are a father, right? And I get it, there's single dads out there. There's fathers who, I get it, the girl you thought that you were going to be forever with, who was going to make a great mom, she didn't turn out to be that woman for you, right? But that doesn't mean you just give up, right? You can choose to be a single dad, that's on you. But there's also really good women out there who would love to be your wife, who would love to raise your child like her own. And we get so caught up in the negative, guys. It's crazy. You know, I'm talking to myself here too, but it's crazy how we get caught up in all the negative. We get in this defeatist mindset of, I'm just not worth it anymore. I'm just not, I just can't do it. And guys, there's so many comments I see about, you know, oh, women only date, you know, Chads and Tyrones. Oh, women only go after the rich guys. Oh, women only go after the guys who can get all the ladies, right? All these stupid, you know, all or nothing comments, right? Women only want the top 1% man. If you're not a top 1% man, she's going to leave you. Guess what, guys? Top 1% men get left and cheated on all the time. All the time. For multiple reasons, right? And as men, we want to make things black and white. We want to say because of this happens, right? We want to say, oh, because I'm not a millionaire, because I'm not super handsome, because I'm not super successful when it comes to, you know, my status, right? My perceived status, that I'm just worthless. No woman's going to want me. Even if I do get a woman, she's going to leave me. Guys, you know how many good women are out there who are looking for a guy who just puts his all into everything in life, who's seeking to do the right thing, who's seeking to be a good man, who's seeking to be a good father? Guys, they're rare, but so are you guys, all right? So are actual good men. And here's another thing I want you to think about. If you are the type of guy that says this, I've been guilty of this myself. If you're the type of guy that talks about this, maybe he has an internal monologue, right? Maybe you've made comments about this before, in person, online, whatever. You've made a very clear saying, right? You've basically said, hey, look, unless I'm Chad, unless I'm a millionaire, unless I'm this, unless I'm this, unless I'm this, I won't get a woman. Well, guys, if you know what you're deficient in, then it's okay to try to get stronger in that area. Don't just throw in the towel. Don't just give up and say, oh man, that's it. That's all I'm here for. That's all I was good for. That's it. You know, a lot of people use the story of, you know, I believe it was Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. Man, he didn't even successfully launch his business until I believe he was in his 70s, right? There's so many guys between their 20s and guys, I would even say up into their 70s, right? Some people have really good genes, man. They're gonna live for a long time. They're sharp until they're 100 plus. You still got time. You still got an ability to do something, right? And when I look out and I see all these guys, man, like when I come across them in real life, you know, I can see it in their eyes. I can see it on their face, right? If I could see you guys, I'd probably say the same thing. A lot of you guys probably have this look of defeat when you look at yourself in the mirror. When you see yourself, you can't be happy with what you see, with anything you see. You don't pat yourself on the back for the things that you are good at, right? And that's the really sad thing. You cut yourself down to this like impossible standard where you have to get up to this point. Guys, if you know that you're maybe not, you know, super handsome in certain areas, have you ever thought about getting a haircut? Have you ever thought about maybe trying to do a little bit of a skin routine? Have you ever thought about trying to get fit? Have you ever thought about buying the clothes that you like, that fit you? If it's finances, have you ever thought about maybe there's better opportunities and better jobs out there, right? You know, I get it. I watched a video today, guys, when it comes to finances. That's a big one these days, right? Everybody's worried about money. Inflation's crazy. People can't afford things. man, you're telling me, man, I was born in 97, right? So I'm seeing everything. Like, there's been so many changes just in my lifetime. It's incredible, right? But I've seen just in the past 5 years, prices of things skyrocket, right? I remember when I was in my younger 20s, I remember seeing everything was affordable, right? You know, food and everything, it wasn't that bad, right? I remember during college, man, I was getting by. In some ways, I probably could have cut down more. I was getting by on like $50 a week in food. And I was constantly working out. I was eating quite a bit of food too, right? I probably could have made that stretch further. Now, man, if you're a single guy, I remember when I was trying to make things stretch, you know, financially, and I was trying to make sure I was getting all my healthy foods in and everything, I was still spending like, goodness, over $400 or $500 a month. It was crazy, right? So if that's the case, right, if things get hard, what are you going to do? Are you going to throw in the towel, right? Or are you going to go, okay, this is what I need to do? Yes, maybe things have gone up 10 times in price, but what do I need to do? How can I market myself? What can I do, right? I think as men, we become so complacent. We allowed ourselves to buy into a system, right? We allowed ourselves to buy into it, where everything was supposed to be handed to us, right? If we just had a college degree, if we just did A, B, and C, right? If we just followed the corporate ladder, if we just followed the structure, if we just did what other people told us to do, we'd have everything we wanted. We'd have enough money to have a family. We'd meet the woman of our dreams and make her our wife, right? We were complacent, right? In a lot of ways. And I'm seeing this a lot more from guys in like their 30s and 40s. But let me tell you something, even a guy in his later 20s, I'm seeing things that I never thought would be reality 5 years ago, okay? It's taken a mental toll on me because I'm like, whoa, all these plans I had, all these ideas I had, I'm having to reinvent things, right? And as men, we have to reinvent the wheel. And guys, when it comes to women, when it comes to finding the one that's gonna be right for you, it's not gonna be, you're not gonna become a millionaire and find the perfect woman for you. You're not gonna become insanely fit and find the perfect woman for you, right? The only way you're going to be able to find that woman is when you look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm okay with this man. I like this man. I'm going to improve on this man. There is this figure that's in front of me in the mirror with whatever gifts, with whatever pros and cons, right? You have to look at it evenly. You have to look at it fairly. You have to look at yourself square in the mirror and go, okay, this is what I'm starting with. This is what I have. This is what I don't have. This is what I need to work on. If finances are a problem, guys, position yourself where you can make more money. It might take time. It might not be an overnight success. Don't get wrapped up in this. You got to think of a game-changing product, or you got to open up a company tomorrow that's going to make you millions. Guys, the biggest thing that's going to determine if you make it or not is the day in and day out grind. And I'm not here to preach that to you in this video, but I do want to let you know that if you apply yourself every single day, you will look back and see it and go, wow, that's what I came from. And women are going to see that, guys. You don't have to be the man right now, but you have to believe that you are the man right now. You have to actually look at yourself and go, that guy, man, I've got this and this and this. Guys, I can't tell you how many guys I've come across in my life, man. Just to throw it out there, right? I'm a pretty tall guy, right? I'm over 6 foot. Not the tallest guy out there, but I know I'm not the shortest either. But there's guys that I've come across, for instance, who will say that they're, you know, because they're not 6 foot, that women don't like them, right? Women don't even look at them. That's so much easier for me. Guys, let me tell you something right now. That is a complete load of BS. I know guys who are 5'7", 5'8". I know guys who are shorter than that, who are better with women than I will ever be, who have had more girlfriends, who have dated more women, who are just better, they just get it. They just get it. And I know that sometimes, well, most of the time, it does come down to confidence, right? But don't look at somebody and go, oh man, if I only had the money, if I only had the height, if I only had the body, if I only had this, if I only had that, if I only had things handed to me, if I only had... Guys, that's a defeatist mentality. Women aren't going to want to be around that. Women want winners. Women want guys who think that they're winners. And that's why in my other videos, I've even made videos on this as well about how women will date broke men, is because those guys, essentially, they might be lazy, right? They might be bums, but they think that they're winners. They think that they are winning in life. They have the confidence of 1,000 men, right? They don't care. They don't care about what people think about them. And so I urge you guys, if you're watching this video, if you've made it this far, don't give up on finding a woman. She's out there for you. Don't get into that defeatist mindset, man. It's going to tear you down. It's not going to help you out. How much good is it really doing you? I'm seeing so many guys talk about, yeah, I'm just going to work till I'm 40. I'm going to retire early, and I hope I can make it to the Philippines and maybe find a good wife. Man, I hope I can, just make enough money to live and just be peaceful and just, guys, what? Is that really all we're going to be made for? Is that really all we want to do? Hey, if that makes you happy, man, if that's truly what you think is going to make you happy and that's what you want to do, dude, no judgment here, man. You do you. But I'm saying there's a lot of guys, I think, that are just giving in, man. They're throwing in the towel. It's easier. I get it. There's been times in my life I've thrown in the towel and I've said, whatever, it's not worth it. But guys, there's something in the back of your mind as a man that just eats at you, and you know that you could be doing more. You know that you're meant for more. You're built for more. You didn't come this far to come this far. All right? You didn't come this far just to give up. You didn't come this far just to say, whatever, right? Take it from me, guys. I'm just an everyday guy, right? I'm an everyday guy. Didn't come from a whole lot, right? I had to make something of myself, right? And I don't even feel like I've really gotten to do, 30% of what I wanted to do. But I made a choice when I was young, when I was like in my teenage years, around 15, 16, where I wasn't going to give up. I was going to stop letting things get me down. And there's been periods of life, guys, where it seemed like that's the complete opposite, where I just said, you know what, it's not worth it, guys. And I've kind of gone off the deep end, and I've just kind of been like, I don't want to be serious about life, right? Just want to party, just want to go out and talk to girls, and like women are the only thing that matter in my life and all this crap, right? Let me tell you the secret, guys. If you want women, you need to be more invested in yourself than them. What do I mean by that? Guys, I was reading, and again, if you made it this far, that's awesome. But I do want to let you know that I do believe in what the Bible says, right? I do believe it is the Word of God. I do believe there's a lot of wisdom in there. And if you've made it this far, I hope you listen to what I have to say next. In Ephesians, I believe it was Ephesians 5, chapter 5, or chapter 4. Can't remember off the top of my head. It's one of those two. But in there, it talked about a man and how he should lead his wife, right? And we sometimes get so stuck. If you know anything about scripture, if you've heard these things, you've probably seen them in comments, even if you're not religious, about how, the wife's supposed to submit to her husband, and the husband is supposed to love his wife as Christ loved the church, right? There's this passage, and I've read it before, but I've never really thought about it too much. But it says, that a man loves his wife like he loves his own body. And I'm like, okay. Then it goes on to say that a man can't love his woman unless he does love himself. And it says that he who loves himself loves his wife. And it was just like a light bulb went off in my head. You can call it the Holy Spirit, right? A light bulb went off in my head. And it all made sense. And I was like, that's it. That's it. Guys, that doesn't mean the first woman that you come across is that when you're super confident, when you love yourself, the first woman that comes your way, that you guys, click, you hit it off or whatever, that doesn't mean it's going to work. What I'm saying is you have to love yourself first. Until you learn to love yourself, until you learn to look at the man in the mirror, until you learn to be like, you know what? I'm okay with what's going on right now. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to keep moving forward. But you know what? I'm confident in this man. I know that he can get it done. And you will get it done. That's why you're watching this video. Right? You made it all the way to the end. Okay? So keep your head up. There's a woman out there for you. Don't give up on her. But most importantly, don't give up on yourself. Love yourself first. I promise you guys, that is the magnet. That magnet of self-love, of confidence, is going to pull in a lot of women. It's going to be up to you to decide which one of those women is worth keeping around. If you haven't read the scriptures in Ephesians and things like that, highly recommend you do so. It's going to give you a lot of wisdom, a lot of examples, a lot of things that you should live by. But remember, guys, love yourself. Treat yourself with respect. Stop putting yourself down. Stop cutting yourself short. Stop selling out. And get it done. So that's all I have for you guys. If you got any comments, you got anything you want to add, any disagreements, let me know in the comments below. But I'll see y'all at the next one.